What's up, everybody? It's Keefy from Ghost Cult Magazine, ghostcultmag.com, and I'm here with the great Mayhem. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back to New York. How are you guys doing?
Well, it's always good to come back overseas. The government seemed to, throw us a lot of shit for all the visas and ESTAs and overseas flights is always shit. But when we are now arrived here with the good weather and everything, and somebody's gonna fix me some joints, and so I'm pretty happy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully jet lag has passed and you guys can party and relax. We appreciate you here on your press day, representing the brand new Mayhem record, the long-awaited record, Daemon, out on October 25th on Century Media. Excellent label you guys have been a part of. I feel like this new record, as a place to start off, I feel like I've gotten to hear the record a few times, super pumped about it, and it really feels like the culmination of everything Mayhem has ever done. It's got like a little bit of everything that is great about Mayhem.
It's kind of inevitable because we've been playing this back catalogue for 6-7 years as with this lineup. So I guess it bleeds through creatively eventually, and this is the product of that basically.
What was the timeline for the writing process? Because you guys have been on tour so much lately.
The timeline? When did we start? Like 3 years ago?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Hello. The thing was that we already booked a European tour before we started writing the album, so the timeline was kind of fucked up. So we started writing in October last year, I believe, and then we started recording in this summer. So yeah, that was the timeline.
Is it difficult to write on the road when you tour so much?
No, we had a year off actually, so we were home, so that was perfect.
Yeah, many times we talked about trying to write on the road, but it doesn't happen. It's impossible. When you're sitting at home thinking about it, it makes perfect sense because okay, we play for an hour and a half a day. You have the rest of the day free, but in real terms, it's just, someone's hungover, someone's disappeared, someone's, gone out for a drive, just never in the same place at the same time. It absolutely doesn't happen.
And as you said, it's inevitable when you've been playing the greatest hits, the greatest album in the history of the genre, if you ask me, for years on tour. Clearly, it's going to seep into some of the sound.
Yeah, definitely. But there was a conscious aspect to it as well. I mean, we decided that we were going to try to return somewhat to a more sort of raw, old school sound, try to strip away the technicality a little bit and try to return to that just basic riff writing. But I think there was a lot of an unconscious aspect as well because we've been playing the Mysteriis for, what was it, 2.5? It was about 200 shows, I think, right? Yeah, something like that. So yeah, of course, it becomes part of the fabric of your every time you touch an instrument, it's there.
I was fortunate enough to catch a couple of those shows in person here in New York City at the Gramercy Theater. Sold out, was madness. I think they broke the bathroom doors off the venue that day, and then also the Metal and Beer Fest on Easter, which was very fitting, if you ask me. It was a really fun time. It was a couple of years ago, but a lot of fun. This record is incredible, and it's really deep. I had to really listen to it a few times to really just absorb it all. And the song, as you said, be a little more raw, but also in terms of listening to it all the way through, it's definitely like a journey. It's not it's beyond dimensional.
That's good. It's good to hear. It was always the plan to write an album that was actually playable. A real album, not like a studio album where you sit down, you copy and paste, record everything together. And then when you come to actually rehearse it in the room, it doesn't work because you've never played it. You've never actually been together as a band and played it. So it was very important for this album that it was a playable, real piece of music, that you could actually do. So that means that it's got that aspect of I guess I don't want to say old music, but you know what I mean? Real music prior to the computer music era, let's say.
It's called live friendly. Basically,
yeah.
What can you reproduce live?
Yeah,
and the last two albums we did was they're great albums, and it's great to listen to them. in your stereo, but not necessarily live. And we experienced that the last 10 years touring with these albums. And when we now came up with this album, then I don't think it's that conscious that we are thinking about that this is going to be produced live. But when we listen back to the result now, it dawns on me at least that at least 50% of the album are really good for playing live. So that's kind of that's what I sit back with after the last 3 albums. That this one is really came to that point where we can reproduce them live, and so I'm super psyched. Actually, I haven't been psyched for any tours for years. I always thought that like it's a fucking hassle. The best part of the tour is when I'm on the plane home. It's actually when I walk across beyond the customs at the Norwegian border. That's when I'm happy about the tour, basically.
Well, that's understandable. Travel sucks and touring is grueling. I know we all appreciate your, attentiveness to touring, and touring that album in particular, I think was a gift to fans who never got to see the band, who never got to hear that album live, or very few of those tracks live. So I think it was great.
It was a long time coming, and as you probably understand, that we had dead people in the band at that time when that came out. So it took some years to find the time for it. And actually, Teloch was more game to go on the next album and just woohoo. But I argued for that. Let's just do this Mysteriis now. Attila was also against it because he thought it was the goal that we're gonna save for later. But later, come on, let's do it now. Wait for later. Yeah, wait until somebody else dies and then let's do it. Not. So this is that was the right time to do it. And like Ghoul just said, we did over 200 shows around the world, and it bleeded into the creativity of the songwriting of the new album. And I can tell you that because these people are kind of blind because they're in it. They wrote the music, so they don't see it as well as I do. I think they will argue not, but it's just now we are here, and I'm just telling you straight out that from the outside, listening to the music, that it actually reminds me of some of the greatness with Mayhem, and I'm very proud of the product. Is insanely great, and it's the best thing we did in like say 16 years.
I agree, and I think, as I said, this sort of, I think you can appreciate this. Obviously, look, great members have passed away or left the group. I feel like since the comeback from inactivity, this is the finest lineup. This is a very strong group, and the record is the result of some of that. And as I want to say again, the song structures and the riffs are raw, but the production's terrific. It is not, a typical lo-fi, early first wave black metal sounding record. It's a modern sounding record with an old school vibe.
I think if we try to make it to give it that old production, it sounds, it's like an Instagram filter, you know what I mean? It just doesn't represent reality. It doesn't really just sounds fake, because it is. So of course it has modern production because we live in 2019. But yeah, the songs definitely have that aspect to them, the organic nature.
Awesome, man. I definitely want to hear some of these tracks live. I cannot wait to see the set list. Will now get mixed up. We'll hear some new material. We'll hear some of the great old stuff and perhaps some of the recent stuff. You always play some deep cuts on the regular tour, so I think it'll be probably refreshing for you guys to get back to a little more general set list fun.
Yeah, because we've been doing the Mysteriis now for 3 years, and we had 1 year off, so it's been years since we played the songs, and I'm more than ready to play some of the old good songs again. And if I am that way, I'm sure that our fans will feel the same. And it's like I said, it was good, and we needed to do the Mysteriis tour, and it took some years to the Attila had to come back in the band too. I was thinking about this already when the Maniac was in the band, that the next project would be the Mysteriis Dom Sathanas. And I told Blasphemer about it, that was the plan, and he was laughing about that. But who's laughing now?
Nice. Unintentional hilarity here at the Mayhem interview. Let's talk about live for a second, as we've been saying. Granted, you are most happy when the tour is over, but surely we're looking forward to some more tours around the world for this new record to support it. And Ghost Cult was very fortunate to visit Norway and cover tons of rock this summer and see the band. As our trusty photo editor and videographer Omar behind the camera was there for Ghost Cult. It was an amazing time by all accounts, and really the festival really serves as a really great reminder of why Norway is really one of the pinnacle places in the world for heavy music. Not just black metal, but all kinds of metal and all rock and everything.
Well, it came a long way until the Norwegian government got proud of us. We were public enemies #1 for many years, treated like criminals. So now they come back and lick our ass. Okay, it's well deserved. That's why we put our asses out there. But we'll make sure that every time we get a microphone in the hand, say "fuck you" for that all those years. We're still here, and now we have to deal with it. And since now you come with this bullshit, yes, okay, fuck it. We can play at the Tons of Rock then, no worries. But you know, it's a big gap between most hated and the beloved, and that's what happened to us. But we haven't changed. I haven't changed a bit. Hate me or love me, you know.
They're coming for you. The jig is up. New York City, always something. I do have to say that it is very interesting that you say that, because I wonder in this day and age where you went from such notoriety for the right and wrong reasons, and now there's a movie about the basis of the band and all this stuff. Is it weird to you? Is it just very odd to all of you that there's this sort of Mayhem was such an underground band for so long, and now it's, you know, a huge, huge name?
I'll let the boys answer that.
Well, we have a different perspective, obviously, because we weren't here from the start. But I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to any of it, to be honest. It's just distracting. It's not really what we're doing. You know, it's what other people are doing.
Yeah. We have tried to focus more on the music instead of all that bullshit around it. Also, we weren't there at all, but we heard the stories every day. Yeah. So we know it in and out already. So we don't need to see the movie.
Oh, I was going to ask about the movie if you had seen it or not. I'm going to take that as a no.
No. I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah?
Did you like it?
Actually, what happened was that they kind of came in the wrong way. Didn't contact us. And I was actually just, I got a phone call in the morning from Decibel Magazine saying, "Hey, we're gonna, you know that Hollywood's making a movie out of your band?" And I'm like, what? There's time difference there. I'm still in bed. What is this about? And then I just came to myself and said, listen, just tell everybody to go fuck themselves. And then I said, "Oh, can we quote you on that?" I said, "Yeah, tell the Swedes to go fuck themselves. Fuck it." But then I met Jonas Åkerlund, director, later on. I didn't know that there was somebody who had something, like old school, had some genuine interest in this. I thought it was some stupid guy from Hollywood, But so it turns out that these people knew the story and stuff and paid a little bit respect to it in terms of, and this is where did I like it or not comes in. I was looking at it and thinking to myself, fuck, they used a lot of effort and time and money to make it like a time travel back as far as recreating all the wardrobe and stuff correctly for the 1990s, late 80s. And they didn't have to do that because all the people in the movie world, they don't know shit about Venom and Bathory and all this stuff, So I was very surprised to see that. That meant to me that, wow, these people actually cared about the stuff. And I had no idea. So in the end, it came out that they actually needed some music. Who would know, right? So the option was like, okay, we can make up some music or you can just grant the rights. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Better to kind of try to make some quality into it, and gave them some rights for the music in the end. And of course, we met up and became friends later on. But that's the part of the point. We started up on the wrong foot here, and that's why it became a little bit awkward. But now everything is good, and the great thing about this, everybody was calling me, LA Times, fucking all the biggest newspapers in the world and stuff was on my phone all the time. Yeah, wanted to have some kind of I told them all. Yeah, I want to talk about it, but they called me after the movie. It's been out for a couple of months. And then they didn't. And I think to myself, when I saw it the first time, thinking, I felt like numb, emotionless, felt like, it wasn't like went out of the movie and thinking, wow, what a great movie. I'm thinking, fuck, that was a sad fucking movie. So it's just, and I think that most of the journalists saw the same and thinking, fuck, maybe we should leave this guy alone. Actually, because this is not what they thought it was going to be. And when everybody realized that, everybody shut up, nobody called, and that was it. That was that was that. That was the big thing. So very strange, but very predictable.
Anytime it's Hollywood, of course it's going to be.
But I mean, like, they reproduced the wardrobe and stuff, so they actually did an effort. It was unbelievable.
Aesthetically, it was great. That's about as much I think there is to say about that film. I think it looked really good, and the violence was very well constructed in the film. But yeah, apart from that,
Well constructed is as in they actually studied the autopsy reports and landed all the stab wounds in the right. Order and in the right amount on both killings in the movie, which is kind of sickening to watch. Also, especially when it comes to actually the killings of your friend.
yeah, of course.
So it's not the best thing, but it's a crazy thing that they actually did that.
Yes, it was very realistic. Well-made film by Jonas. I didn't particularly care for the book, and I didn't particularly love the film myself, but I wasn't there. You were. I heard that the record store was very well recreated. I know there's a store there now, Nespla, but I understand that the store and the inner circle was very well done. Randomly, did you feel after the film came out, or have you seen sort of a jump in any of your sales or Spotify, anything like that since the film came out, since some of the music was in it?
Yeah, we've seen a little spike. As soon as the movie came out, we saw a little spike, but it's not like millions percent better or something like that. We've definitely seen a spike, and we've also seen some interest from a new group of young people into this now. That doesn't necessarily heard about black metal before, so it's a good thing for us, I think, in the end.
Indeed. I think if anything positive can come out of this film, it's that a little more attention was paid to one of the greatest bands ever. I appreciate that. I appreciate the effort. I'll leave it there. As we wind this down, and you guys have been fantastic, just any further things in the time off? Do you guys work on any side projects or anything else like that, or just focused on the new album?
Right now it's focusing on this promotion. So we're doing a tour in October in Europe, and we're doing interviews and normal promotion stuff going on. Nothing else going on. November. There we go.
All right. Hopefully a lot of touring around the world. Sorry for you in advance, but fans are going to be really happy.
One thing, I just have to clarify this. The 1.5 hours I'm on stage, actually, I enjoy myself. The rest is bullshit.
And I think any touring musician would say that. I am Keefy from Ghost Cult Magazine, the great Mayhem. Thank you for spending some time with us. Thank you so much. Keefy, ghostcultmag.com. We are out.